Hello and welcome again to another episode of How to Avoid Murder and Other Awkward Situations. I am your host Dave, and with me always is the lovely Laura. And tonight, we're going to discuss something gruesome and something horrible. We may laugh, we may make some jokes, we use gallows humor here. It's not for the faint of heart, you may be offended. And if you're a delicate boy that plays the drums in an alt-rock band from Chicago, you will be offended. And you probably should listen to something else, something that decent folks listen to. I wouldn't know, because I'm not listening to it. And so, without further ado, let's proceed. I want to welcome everybody once again to another episode of How to Avoid Murder and Other Awkward Situations. Friendly reminder, not professionals. This is not what we do for a living. We are not comedians. We are not even that talented.
We don't have a research team. We are doing all this research in between our other jobs, and we make no promises of 100% accuracy. We're being as accurate as we possibly can. I read like 10 articles, I read a whole book, and I watched an episode of Snapped. That's my research.
We're mostly doing this for fun. We like talking about murder. We want to share our thoughts with the world, and we hate Sword and Scale. So if you're a big Sword and Scale fan, that's not what this is. If you like two people that are probably a lot like you, talking about horrible things and making a few snide comments and shocked gasps and muterations, this is your show. And I think we got a pretty good one tonight, because
I think so.
Yeah, and I'm going to let Laura take it away. She's presenting. I'm going to comment and react and mostly stay quiet. And we're going to work together to get through this.
Right, because this murder takes place in a place that I have not been, but you have been there at least once, right?
I 3 times, I believe.
3 times, and I've never. City of Ocean City, Maryland.
And the bar, Seacrets.
Yep. So, also, you lived with a scrapbooker, didn't you? Wasn't she a scrapbooker?
She did scrapbook, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she, amongst other things, yeah.
I've never been a scrapbooker, and it's not really big in our town. I don't know anyone who scrapbooks, but I know it was real big, like 10 years ago. Scrapbooking became a thing. There's like a whole section of the craft store.
It was during the Iraq War. We were trying to find a way to pass the time and like
memorialize things with stickers.
In scrap form. This is before the internet was really...
Also, Hooters. I've never been to Hooters.
Seriously?
So why am I... Really, it should be you presenting this. I have no familiarity with anything that this...
Come firewalk with me in my world. A world of Hooters and chicken wings and...
Hooters, scrapbooking, and secrets. Alrighty. Okay. So let's dive into this topic. This murder took place in 2002, and we'll start at the beginning here with this girl who I think is like exactly my age. I feel like we keep doing murders, and then I realize that the murderers or the victims are like exactly my age, because I start to relate to when we start talking about their childhoods, I'm like, oh my god, I listened to that album. Anyway. So so we'll start with this girl, Erika Grace. So Erika Grace grew up in Pennsylvania. She was a high-achieving girl. She had good grades. She played basketball. Basketball was like her thing. Her dad was, her parents were pretty well off. Her mom was like a former nurse, but I think a stay-at-home mom. And her dad was like a builder or something. Of course, I've already forgotten. But her parents had this super solid, lovely, happy marriage. Which Erika later said that she felt like the third wheel, which to me is like, really? I mean, how can you fucking win? You have a good marriage, and then your kids complain that your marriage was too good and they felt left out?
What's so bad about being a third wheel? I've never really understood that expression.
Anyway, so she was an only child. I think that was the issue. Like, she was the only child. The parents were super close. They had a great relationship.
Probably a lot of Billy Joel being played, too. Pennsylvania locals.
I guess so.
He's like their Kid Rock, a little bit classier.
Yeah, well, yeah. Come on.
We're from Michigan.
Billy Joel some credit. Anyway, so she grew up in kind of a wealthy family, And she and her mom both really loved jewelry, and she and her dad really loved basketball.
It's the kind of thing that wealthy people love. I love jewelry,
I know.
says the wealthy woman.
First world problems.
Yeah.
I just love jewelry too much.
No one ever loves like
The other
washing
thing
their
they
clothes
love-
by hand if they're wealthy. It's-
Exactly.
Yeah, I just love jewelry.
I love darning my socks.
It's like lazy people love movies. I just like movies. I'm a cinema buff.
Yeah. She also loved purses.
Oh, fuck
boy.
her. Jesus.
Anyway, so she was really into basketball. One of those like kind of a perfectionist type personality. Her dad coached her basketball team, and get down, Frodo.
Sorry, my dog is humping my leg right now.
No, go lie down. We're gonna have to edit this out. Come here, buddy.
But we probably won't.
Come over here and lie down.
Sit.
He's gonna play with the loudest toy in here now.
Toy.
So she
Begging
played
basketball players?
She played basketball, and I think it was one of those situations where like she thought she was going to go on to be like a real big deal basketball player, but she was just this short, skinny white girl. So it didn't
Same sad story.
Didn't really go anywhere. When she did play basketball in college, but I think only for a couple of years, and she was like the star in her high school basketball team. And then she got to college, and she was just sort of like a mediocre player.
That was mostly related to her giving a lot of blowjobs, I thought.
I don't think she was... You know what? I think she was like a pretty straight and narrow girl until 1999.
Ooh.
Did you know what happened in 1999?
I don't know, but I party like it's 1999 every day.
She met a guy named Benjamin Sifrit.
What was his name?
Benjamin Sifrit. Sifrit, maybe?
Sifrit.
I can't remember. I can't remember how they pronounced it on the... this is a terrible episode already. Anyway, let's just call him Benjamin Sifrit.
Let's call him BS for short.
Well, actually, I think he went by BJ.
Well, there we go. BJ Queen.
She met him in a bar. So, he grew up... I forget where. I think he might have moved around a lot. His family moved around a lot. Anyways, he grew up in like a tight-knit family. He was an athlete in school, not too great of a student, but after school he wanted to join. First he wanted to be a Marine, and then he decided, I think he went to the recruiting place, and they were like, you know what, you should go for SEAL training. So he did. He became a Navy SEAL. He was the #1 student in his training class. So he was not only a Navy SEAL, like he made it through the training class, and he was the top in the class. So that's pretty hardcore. So Erika and Benjamin meet in a bar. He's a Navy SEAL. She's like a skinny white girl, former basketball player. I don't know what she was doing at that point, but I don't think much. They kind of hit it off right away. I think he told her at first that he...
Well, let me guess. I'm a Navy SEAL. He probably leads with that,
That's
right?
That's probably what he led with.
Yeah.
But then he also was like, I can't have a relationship because I'm too busy with my SEAL training.
Oh, that works every
time. And I guess
time.
the Navy SEALs, like, they are in training like 300 days out of the year, and they can be sent anywhere, and then they can't tell anyone where they go.
They're trained to everything, Laura,
so it sounds,
but love.
It does sound kind of like, not an ideal situation for starting a long-term relationship.
So is he just like sitting in this bar, like brooding with his upper middle class sensibilities about being a Navy SEAL?
I think he was hanging out with his SEAL friends.
You don't know what I've seen at training. I
don't know. I don't know any Navy SEALs. Do you?
I was chased by Marines in Hilton Head that one time, so I don't know if they were that many
my
SEAls.
uncle, who was kind of a tough guy and was in the Air Force, and he said the Navy SEAls just made him feel like a little girl.
I know quite a few Marines. The Marines are the tip of the spear typically, and the Navy SEAls are the poison that you put on the tip of that spear to make sure.
Right. Well, they're basically trained to kill, right?
Not to love, but to kill.
But I mean, seriously, and that their training is like notoriously intense.
Brutal. I mean, my understanding, they're basically trained so much that their only reflex, instinct, and action is to, eliminate the enemy, survive, and move on.
Right.
Yeah,
so they're like specialized, hardcore. They're badasses, really. I mean, right?
They're allowed by law to eat members of the Coast Guard if they're hungry. That's how badass they are. The Coast Guard actually exists just to feed Navy SEAls. That's the. We're in the Coast Guard. We're guarding Lake Michigan.
All right. So anyway, so for some reason, this big Navy SEAL and this little girl Erika.
Big guys love little girls, though. They love.
He tells her he doesn't. Oh, I know. God, don't I know it?
You met my parents.
I was like, it's always such a waste when he's like a really tall guy with a real short girl. You're like, you know what? Somebody with that height should date a tall girl.
I think it's the easiest pickup line, though, because a tall guy is like, you're pretty short. She's like, you're pretty tall. Next thing you know, they have 5 kids and get divorced 30 years later.
Anyway.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
All right, you need some... get that therapy going. So, anyway, so he tells her he doesn't want a long-term relationship, but she... I guess is really persuasive. She kind of becomes obsessed with him. And somehow, I don't know what the details are in this 3-week span, but between the time they met and started dating, 3 weeks later, they got married.
Because she was pregnant, I hope.
Nope. Neither of them told
I'm
their
2 months late.
No.
And I hope you're not very good at math.
No, she actually wasn't pregnant, and they just were.
I was trained to kill, not count menstrual cycles.
Really kind of dumb and real impulsive, which will come into play.
I'm not going to sit here while you degrade our troops like this. You fucking Democrat
These
witch.
two were not planners. I mean, they were planners, but not good ones. So anyway, so they get married, and then what?
What is that? That Scotch tape hanging from the slide?
Yeah.
What is going on in this house?
I don't know. Some sort of ritual that Sarah's doing.
Fucking rituals here. Go on.
Okay, so they get married, and it was wedded bliss. It's a honeymoon period.
How old were they?
Just kidding. They were like 21. It was not wedded bliss. It was actually a complete nightmare from like the minute they got married.
This is the early 2000s, I think.
This is 1999.
This is people that age aren't getting married. They're shaving their pubes in this time frame. This is
I don't know. But like I said, they were real impulsive and dumb.
So get tattoos.
So they get... Well, it's funny you mention that.
Did you say whelp? You're so from Michigan.
Welp.
We'll play euchre later up north. We'll have a pasty. By the way, I've never been offered a pasty. I've lived in Michigan
It's a pasty.
Pasty.
If you say it's a pasty, that's what strippers...
Whatever. People are like, Michigan, they love their patsies. Like, what the fuck are those?
Oops. Sorry, buddy.
By the way, we're recording from Michigan.
Oh, shit.
We rescued a dog.
Did you want to go in?
Yeah, you want to go into your cage? Build your own prison.
He looks like
we all build our own prisons. I built a prison of a still-alone dad and family.
Oh
You've built a prison of a plastic cage.
It's the cage is metal.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm literal.
You're metal.
The cage is so metal. We're drinking.
All right.
Anyway.
Back to the murder.
Nope, not the murder yet. This is just a real bad marriage that was impulsively started.
Sounds like they probably should have started a podcast. That's a good relationship builder.
I mean, anyone who gets married when they've only been dating for 3 weeks instead of 6 months or whatever, however long we were dating. That was almost a year.
I knew you for a long time.
That's true. Anyway, so
it was not almost
it turns out that Erika was a really anxious girl. Very high anxiety, obsessive compulsive. Really liked to know where Benjamin was at all times.
I hear high anxiety, rich girl,
which is a real.
But I'm not hearing cocaine.
A real bad. Well, not yet. It was a really bad combination with a Navy SEAL because, like we said before, Navy SEALs have to go out on training all the time. So basically, he had to be gone, and he couldn't tell her where he was going, and she just started freaking out. He did have an affair at some point, and she found out, and it was a whole thing, and. Anyway, she somehow, at one point, he was in Alaska, and it was supposed to be some secret training thing, like she was not supposed to know where he was, but he gave her some kind of secret signal, so she figured it out, and she followed him there and showed up. And he got in big trouble because he wasn't supposed to have her, and she was, like, in his barracks or whatever. I mean, it was just... So, this is pretty unbelievable, because he was on, like, a really good career track with the Navy, and he was really into it, and he meets her, and she just kind of flips out.
Total Yoko.
They decide that he needs to deliberately sabotage his Navy career.
Naturally, deliberately.
So that they can be together.
All the accidental sabotage he was doing wasn't enough.
Well, I think he cussed out his superiors. He was, missing from wherever he was supposed to be. He did some other stuff. He kept getting in trouble, so he eventually gets a bad conduct discharge.
Well, here's the thing.
To be with her.
I have a few clients, and not to get into that, but the standards for staying in the Marine Corps.
He's standing right at the door. Can you let the dog?
And for staying in the Navy SEALs are shockingly high. Like if you go to your CO, commanding officer, and disclose to them that you've been arrested for something. And if you get acquitted, they can kick you out or not let you re-enlist. But so, I mean, there's plenty of ways to get out of there.
Well, you can see why somebody with Navy SEAL training, you would want them to be really on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. And
because if you're not, and you have that training, it could be a bad combination.
Well, and they don't like people that cope with issues by using substances. That is a big red flag. Like even like a drunk driving or that sort of thing.
Can imagine.
Yeah, I've met a few drunk Marines in my life.
This is all gonna come into play.
Yeah.
We've got a guy with Navy SEAL training here. So anyway, he got a bad conduct discharge, and he had been a real straight and narrow. He had a flawless career up to this point. He was top of his class. He was well respected, and then he either deliberately sabotaged himself, or this girl just made him go so nuts that he just had like 3 bad conduct incidences in a row or something, and then they kicked him out.
It doesn't seem like the kind of job where they'd be stressing you to get married that young, too. I mean, that's a lot to put on somebody.
I think that was probably a big shock to everybody. It was a shock to both of their families. They didn't tell their families even about each other.
Is she like a knockout or something?
She's not a knockout. Neither one of them are a knockout. So I'll show you their pictures in here. So if you want to look at their pictures, first of all, you could just pick your phone up and Google it.
But we'll put it in our blog, avoidmurder.com.
I read this book, which contains a lot of photographs, and it's called Cruel Death.
Most true crime books contain a lot of photos.
Cruel Death by M. William Phelps, and it's all about this case. So here she is. This is her, like, she was young here. But here she is around the time that all this stuff happened. Well, here's their arrest pictures, not to give anything away. There they are. So they're just like...
God, she looks like a gym teacher.
Well, she got real... So... I'm all over the place here. So anyway, so he gets thrown out. There's their mug shots. Yeah, not particularly cute, either one of them. But I'll get more into their appearances later. So he's out of the Navy. So her parents, remember, they had a lot of money. At this point, Erika was really into scrapbooking. So her parents help them. They give them some money so that they can open a scrapbooking store in Altoona. So that's what they do. So Erika and Benjamin open this scrapbooking store in Altoona.
Is that a Mexican seaport?
And they run it together. They're working together at this point. So he goes from being a Navy SEAL to working alongside his wife in a scrapbooking store. All right?
So she's... Okay. Yikes.
So, I mean, can you imagine... I'm guessing that, like, it was probably pretty exciting to be a Navy SEAL, and it's probably pretty fucking boring to work in a scrapbooking store in Altoona.
Well, I think working with your spouse is always a bad idea.
Nightmare. That is a nightmare. So anyways, they get kind of bored, and she's a real insecure girl, as we're going to find out. She's very insecure and really anxious. So she kind of gets suckered into, or he gets, I don't know. It's almost like, and everyone that was interviewed in the book and on the show that I watched and everything basically said, like, alone they would have been fine. Together they were a terrible combination. So it's kind of unclear as to like who pushed who into what or whatever. But anyways, they started somehow.
I'm going to blame the scrapbooker.
They started doing a lot of drugs. He was really into smoking pot, and she was really into like speed and she was on like 2 different anti-anxiety drugs, which she started snorting, which I've never even heard of snorting Xanax, but she was snorting Xanax.
This is our third speed murder type thing, though.
Speed is if you have any kind of murderous impulses, do not do any speed. It would be my
amphetamines are the official sponsor of all bad decisions involving violence, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get a pothead who's like murdering people usually.
No, potheads are usually murdered, I'd say.
I would say that's probably fair.
Or die in some kind of hilarious accident involving...
So these two start getting, they're getting into drugs. They're drinking heavily. She starts getting a lot of tattoos. He already had a tattoo, I believe. And can you guess what it was? It was right on his chest.
Well, I can't guess. You tell me. I was going to go with like the arm,
the
barbed wire thing on his arm.
It's a very controversial, some might say.
Confederate flag?
Everyone that I would know would say it would be beyond controversial.
Confederate flag?
No, more terrible than that.
A swastika?
Yes.
Okay, how's that controversial?
Well, I was saying that with air quotes.
I feel like, what's the controversy about?
I don't know. I mean,
it's like, I'm trying to tell people I hate...
this girl's parents, though? Here she's this, like, kind of straight and narrow girl, and she marries this Navy SEAL who immediately gets kicked out of the Navy, and then they find out he's got a fucking swastika tattoo.
I'm going to go back to the swastika controversy. Is it controversial, like, among other hate groups, where one hate group's like, the swastika is too limiting? It's like, it means you only hate the Jews. What you really need is a burning cross. That encapsulates everyone. I mean, they hate all brown people and Jewish people. But I don't know. I mean, a swastika, I mean, like, yeah, you probably could like other...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's pretty extreme. I feel like the Navy wouldn't really love that. Do they not care? I don't know.
Who knows? Did he get why he was in the Navy? I mean, that was a country we were at war with. And,
I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, the swastika has, unbeknownst to most people, a lot of negative connotations.
Does it?
It does, yeah.
Really? Okay, so anyway. Oh, so she starts getting a lot of tattoos also. He's got tattoos. And the other thing they start doing is they start collecting reptiles as pets, which that's not a... You can have a reptile as a pet. That's cool. But it's like, it almost seemed like they were trying too hard.
Actually,
they got a bunch of snakes and alligators. And here's the part where you're going to find out what assholes they are. Here are the names of some of their snakes.
They actually named them?
Oh, yeah.
Like, can we... Okay,
yes.
well,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. There's a term. The lead singer of Slayer, Carrie King, is into this. It's a term for people that professionally raise reptiles, but it's a whole subculture, though, where, like, they don't name them, they don't treat them as pets.
Oh.
They just have a strong interest in them and breeding them and crossbreeding them, but they don't treat them as
these
living
people
things. I mean, so there's two types. Like, it's really a dark subculture.
You know, reptiles are cool, though. I can see having a, like, you know, my brother had an iguana, which is not really a very badass reptile, but man, she was cool. I mean, she was really, it was like having a little dinosaur. What are they called? I don't know. So they have all these snakes, and I guess they have some alligators too. It wasn't really clear which ones had which names, otherwise I would totally tell you, but, so some of the names of their reptiles were Bonnie, Clyde.
Okay.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No.
Hitler.
That I didn't see. I mean, I guess the swastika.
I know, and HIV.
Well, that I kind of respect.
mean,
that
what?
that one
That's
I
not
like.
even a name. That's not even a name. That's not even creative.
I think it's kind of funny.
That's stupid.
They
That's
should
just stupid.
They should have full blown in AIDS too.
Jesus. All right. Anyway,
But back it up though.
these people sound like
How many
like
red flags are there? I mean,
terrible
like you get this. I mean, I think
it's like if you invent the worst boyfriend for your daughter. On the other hand, his family was not terribly pleased because she gets him kicked out of the Navy, and she's a real fucking wreck.
Well,
she's like a ball of anxiety. So let me just go on here. Never going to get to it. So they're doing drugs, they're drinking, they're getting tattoos, they're collecting reptiles. Her friend said she just seemed like a completely different person after she married him. So then, this apparently was not exciting enough for them. Like, they were doing all this stuff. So then they escalate to burglary. And, which seems like kind of a leap.
I don't know, but I mean,
well, so here's the other
stealing
weird thing.
things you don't need is it's a thrill.
So they're thrill seekers, right? They're thrill seekers. They have dangerous animals. They do a lot of drugs. They got married on a whim, right?
Well, this is not that different
It's
from me.
thrill-seeking behavior.
I mean, I
feel
steal
like
sushi
if you're
for
going
fun.
to be sushi again, I feel like if you're going to be a Navy SEAL, you've got to kind of love excitement, right?
Well, I disagree. If you're Navy SEAL, you've got to be incredibly disciplined, and you have to not be afraid of dying. You got to feel slightly invincible, but you got to be be able to push yourself. I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, everyone has a certain physique and a certain, but it's the mindset, it's the discipline. You got to have a certain kind of mindset to make it through the training. Yeah. I mean, they do, and they sculpt you, but like it's mental,
right? Yeah, and a lot of people do not make it through the training. So, anyways, they get into burglary, but so Erika has another weird interest besides reptiles and scrapbooking. She's obsessed with Hooters, which is bizarre. It's bizarre. I mean,
I would have a lot of fun with Erika.
No, you wouldn't. She would drive you crazy in a second.
I wouldn't fall in love. But
no, I think this girl would drive you fucking crazy. She's obsessed with Hooters. She's obsessed with Hooters like memorabilia. She collects it. So she collects all those shirts and things, and what she especially collects are like the waitresses' outfits, like that you can't buy, like the things that they wear. So, anyways, they start breaking into Hooters.
What is that? Where does that come from?
I don't know.
I bet you,
it would be fascinating to know, wouldn't it?
She probably loves Disney too, and so, I mean,
I don't know. It was like that. It was like that. It was like the people that love Disney, except she loved Hooters. I mean, why would a girl from the suburbs in Pennsylvania love Hooters? I don't know. Maybe it seemed kind of edgy to her. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I collect duck stuff. I like duck things. I have no reason for that, but I'm not breaking into Ducks Limited.
She was a collector, though, obviously. I mean, she was into scrapbooking. She took pictures of everything. She scrapbooked everything they did.
I'm a collector of experiences.
And she collected Hooters, and then what they would do is they were ripping off Hooters and then selling the stuff on eBay. So it was like a side business. And apparently they were just like breaking into places all the time, and then they were real tired the next day, so he was like falling asleep in their scrapbooking store and like scaring the customers away.
Well, the scary thing, but almost nothing you described here some of this sounds kind of appealing. Like, I would enjoy a high class robbery of some sort, not into Hooters. Maybe you could rob an art gallery. That'd be kind of fun.
Art thief.
I would enjoy having an iguana. I've always wanted like an iguana or some large
These sound
lizard.
like kind of more refined versions of the things that Benjamin and Erika were into.
I get older, I get more tattoos. Discreetly hidden tattoos. Yeah.
Probably not a swastika, though, since you're
probably
Jewish heritage.
Well, yeah, and also I'm not a
complete asshole.
I'm not a complete asshole. No, I'm not
a complete asshole.
Not a complete asshole.
Right. So let me tell you a really creepy story from during this time.
That is heart. Just.
I know. What a piece of shit.
What do you think your kids to the fucking pool? It's Pennsylvania, for Christ's sakes.
I know.
A swastika.
I know.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
All right.
So during this time, so later she tells a story, and then there's like nothing to like prove this one way or the other. This is just one of the many things that she tells some friend of hers later, is that he tells her he wants to have a baby, wants her to get pregnant. So she gets pregnant, and like 3 months into the pregnancy, one day he just says, "I never wanted a kid. You need to get an abortion."
How many months into the pregnancy?
3 or 4.
Okay.
Early, but still not that early.
Whose version is this? Like he said,
this is hers. This is hers, but I don't think he refuted it. I don't know. Was I don't know.
It was his?
Let me finish this part of the story. So
please.
She gets the abortion.
Young married couple getting an abortion.
And then he says, "I was just testing your loyalty. I was just seeing what you would do."
Well, it's biblical. It's God and Abraham.
Isn't it? It's very biblical. It's very Old Testament.
Well, you know the story. I know you're a heathen, but God told Abraham to sacrifice his son.
I know that story.
Right.
So anyway, so she's really in it to win it here. She's willing to put up that. But on the other hand, it sounded like she was really controlling of him. It's not like he, held all the cards, because she did things like she forbid the color purple in their house because one of his ex-girlfriends liked the color purple. Now, that doesn't subtly say completely insane. Our dog is going completely insane. Did he take some speed earlier? Did he have a few yellow jackets?
Wow, look at his ears.
His ears are on high alert.
He just
oh my God.
ran a complete circuit down here. Should we get some water?
He's doing some cross training.
Okay,
CrossFit. Briefly
though. I mean, a couple of I want to back up a little bit. Was there an abortion scrapbook? I mean, you put the pregnancy test in there.
He's getting. Can you grab?
This is what happened the other day with the couch thing.
Can you grab that fleece from him? No, he's got her fleece. Don't let him take it outside. Jesus Christ. This is going to be our most edited episode.
Yeah, or least edited.
No, I'm editing this out. This is nuts. Right. Okay. Andy's back in. Oh my God. Please settle down, dog. Okay. Where was I? You were going to say something.
Something about... No, I was saying, like, was there an abortion scrapbook where you put... Like,
I don't know. That would be really sad, wouldn't it?
I mean,
anyway,
what's the psychology behind something
he was just testing her. But on the other hand, you'll see later, like, was this true? I don't know.
There's got to be some anger. Well, again, that's... maybe
she got him to quit the Navy for her. So both of them, it seems like, they had this weird power dynamic that was...
relationships where
this is going to be very important later on.
But one spouse gives up something good for their spouse, and there's a little bit of quiet resentment.
Yeah.
We don't have that, I hope, right? No. Because you give up nothing, I've given up nothing. We're having it all, goddammit. But no, I'm just saying, I
guess you gave up your solitude.
Give up hot pockets.
Quiet Sundays on the couch.
Hot pockets on the couch, but I'm jerking off into the wrappers.
Ew.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I would jerk off an actual hot pocket.
Stop. That's gross.
I would never jerk off into a hot pocket wrapper.
Gross. Okay, stop talking about that.
Sorry.
We can talk about murder. We can talk about all kinds of shit. We are not talking about jerking off into a hot pocket because that crosses the line. That's gross.
No, crossing the line would be saying I ate the
Blah, blah,
Hot
blah.
Pocket. Okay, fine.
I knew where you were going with that. That's why I was trying to stop you. Okay. He's back at the door.
Okay, so abortion scrapbook. Go on.
Okay, so anyway, their relationship is not healthy by anybody's standards, right? Can we agree on that?
Healthy but fun.
Does the dog want back out? Murder this dog. How to avoid murdering your own pet. Just kidding. We love him. All right. So, it's Memorial Day weekend coming up, and Erika and Benjamin decide they're going to take a break from their scrapbooking store. They're going to go on a vacation. They've got a ton of cash on them from all their burglaries and eBay sales of Hooters merch. I imagine they probably called it merch, don't you think?
Merch, probably, yeah. Swag. Yeah.
Cheeks.
Wow.
So they decide to go to Ocean City for Memorial Day week.
Okay, go on.
I know. Ocean City sounds fun.
I'll give you a 45-second endorsement. Ocean City. I didn't get a chance.
Nope, go ahead. Do it.
Ocean City is your quintessential American ocean boardwalk town where you can get, like, deep fried food every 30 feet. They have carnival rides. They have cheap hotels, expensive hotels. It's the 1950s aesthetic where you have, like, a pool near the beach. You walk down, and you see lots of inappropriate T-shirts.
Right.
You can buy puppies. You can buy drugs in the alleys. It's got stuff for everyone.
It's family friendly, and yet you can have a lot of fun there as a person without children, right?
And I would like to take our family. Yeah, because I went there 3 times without children, and I think
and it literally has like a boardwalk, right?
It has a great boardwalk.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of those great horrible bars where you go just to pick up and get
There's probably a lot of fried clams and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in those I went to those bars, and let me tell you, no action for me.
Oh,
every
boy.
time.
Man. Well, luckily you did not meet up with Erika and Benjamin.
I probably still would have stricken out. I've got a knack for that. It's amazing.
Okay, so anyways, they decide to go there, and her parents, who really are kind of enabling her at this point, I mean, sounds like, I would have thrown a gigantic fucking fit if one of my kids married a guy with a swastika tattoo. I would not have given them the money to open a scrapbooking store. That's all I'm saying.
I would hope
I'm
so.
sure they were probably doing that to keep her close and try to calm them down and kind of hope that maybe he'd get a cover-up tattoo at some point, but it didn't work. So anyway, so not only they go to Ocean City, have her parents take care of the store while they're gone, but her dad has some kind of connection where he has a condo that he can rent the penthouse of the condo. I think maybe he was a builder or something, and he had built this condo that's called the Rainbow Condominiums in Ocean City. They're nice condos, and they get the penthouse condo. It's like a 2-story little penthouse condo
for vacation, right?
Vacation, yeah, for a week. So
we should rent that when we go out there.
Oh my God, we'll be like, I only want to stay in the penthouse where the murders happened.
I want the murder discount.
Oops, I gave it away. Anyway.
I think you gave it away earlier, but go on.
Maybe we gave it away by the title of our podcast, which has the word murder in it. And awkward situations, which we'll literally never talk about unless murder is awkward, which it is. Anyway, so they stay at this Rainbow Condominium penthouse. It's got 2 stories, a hot tub. It's got a balcony. It's right on the beach. They're partying. Another thing about Erika, she loved to tan. She went tanning every day. I love
this girl.
She not only does she love to tan, but in Ocean City, where I imagine there's a lot of tanning potential on the actual beach, she insisted that Benjamin take her to the fucking tanning salon. Look, why did you go to the tanning salon when you're on a beach?
Everything you're saying, she is a penis magnet. This is the kind of girl that men are drawn to because they know she's so crazy they can probably just throw it in there.
Well, that's probably true.
I mean, because crazy equals sex equals. I mean,
and she was crazy.
Sex first, crazy
partying,
later.
They're doing lots of drugs. They're drinking a ton, and they're going to Hooters constantly, eating wings. I'm not lying. They were going to Hooters a lot, and she was tanning. They're going to the beach. Blah blah blah. So on Saturday, the Saturday before Memorial Day, they decide to go to, get ready for it, Seacrets. So they get on this bus, which I guess is the bus takes.
I took that bus to Seacrets.
Oh my God!
No, because they advertised the bus.
Did you have to have exact change?
I don't remember that.
You did have to have exact change because guess who didn't have exact change to get on the bus?
Erika?
Yeah, Erika and Benjamin did not have exact change. So this very nice couple Joshua Ford and Jeannie Crutchley, also on vacation. These two lived in Virginia, Fairfax, Virginia. They were a couple. He was in his 30s. She was like 51. But they lived together. They decide to get away for the weekend. They see this couple, Eric and Benjamin, trying to get on this bus, and they didn't have the right change. So Joshua, being a gentleman, steps up and says, "Here, I got you guys," and pays for their bus ticket. So Benjamin and Erika say, "Oh, we'll buy you guys a drink at the bar. Thank you so much."
He's like, "I'm not stingy, see? Swastika, not a Jew."
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
That's how I tell people. I'm generous with my money. What? It's like,
can you imagine?
I hope he wore like mesh shirts to show the swastika
if I was
off.
hanging out with somebody and then I noticed he had a swastika tattoo, I would nope the fuck out of there so fast.
Or how does that play in the scrapbooking business when you're like wearing a t-shirt? What's that?
Well, I imagine he was covering it up.
I guess, but still,
it was not on his face.
You don't get a swastika on your chest to cover
Charles
it up.
Manson style. I don't know. I mean, there's pictures of him like on the beach with his swastika tattoo. Let me see if there's a picture in here. I mean, in case you doubt that he actually had one, I saw a picture of him. It's pretty gigantic.
Why are you looking for that picture?
Yeah.
So I did take a bus to Seacrets with some friends of mine, and it was pretty amazing because they're advertising it all over like radio stations and things like that.
Sounds pretty fucking
it's
terrible.
Well, it's gigantic. It's got tons of like bars. It's a huge gigantic bar. Bars within bars. We get there. And my buddy, we'll call him Beam, or Jim Rauch, if you want to go by his proper name. He's wearing like a White Sox jersey and jeans, which is pretty normal. And we get there and they say, "Oh, sorry, there's a dress code. You can't wear any sports jerseys or plain white T-shirts." Oh. Translation: we don't want a lot of black people here.
Oh
so
man,
there's a very
whenever they say no sports jerseys, that's a little iffy.
And again, a lot of people, there's a certain style where you'd wear like big baggy, like you can't wear white T-shirts there. That's like a rule.
That's weird.
Well, that was kind of a look when I was there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's such a quaint, quiet little racism in Baltimore or in Maryland in general, because it's not quite south, but it's not quite north. But there's a huge segment of the population that, God bless them, they just don't love black people. That is a big fucking swastika.
Isn't
oh my
it?
God. Save that picture.
I mean, this thing is it looks like it's like 5 by 5 inches, wouldn't you say?
That's like again.
It's like the size of his entire pec.
That's huge. That's a life-changing tattoo right there.
So speaking of not liking black people, I think it's safe to say that Benjamin was not a fan of black people with that giant swastika tattoo.
Probably hated
Jews. I mean, I think he pretty much hated everyone who wasn't white.
Yeah.
And nobody gets a swastika tattoo that size if they're not racist as
I would
fuck.
say if you don't like black people, you go with the Confederate flag.
You know what? This guy, I think but you know what? I think if you want to make a statement saying I'm in general real racist, you go for a swastika because...
Well, swastika is almost a punk rock thing where you're like daring people to fight you kind of thing. That's like prison yard shit.
No. Guess what movies these two liked, too?
Guess? The Mickey and Mallory shit?
They loved Natural Born Killers. Yep, loved Natural Born Killers. And another movie they were huge fans of was American History X.
Yeah,
which is a great movie, but it's disturbing. I mean, I wouldn't say I love that movie and I want to like watch it all the time. It's a good movie, but man, it's hard to watch.
But you watch that movie, you know who ends up being right? It's like, well, I mean, like, it's almost as if like they justify the hatred of that movie with the ending. I mean, like I don't know.
Let's not talk about that movie. That movie is disturbing as shit. Here's another picture of this winner. This looks like he's actually... This is one of her... Oh, yeah. She took pictures of everything. So here's a picture of him actually... Oh, come on, Oxygen. Here's a picture of him... Damn you. On the beach in Ocean City. On their balcony, actually. Their balcony looking over the beach with his giant swastika tattoo. So, yeah, he was really a piece of work.
I have a tattoo of Han Solo's blaster, and a duck, and a drinking fountain, and a World War II jet.
And I also have really interesting.
"Don't let the bastards grind you down," carved into my arm.
Yep.
In Latin.
Anyway, so this nice couple who did not have any swastika tattoos, Joshua...
That I know of.
No, they didn't. you'll find later, they didn't have any tattoos they had tattoos, I think, but no swastikas. That would have become clear. Anyway, they so they get them on the bus, and then the other couple, Erika and Benjamin, say like, oh, we'll buy you guys a drink at the bar. All right, so that sounds pretty normal. That sounds like something that would happen in a party town. Totally normal. So, at this point, Erika and Benjamin were like pretty much drunk the entire time. So they're probably already drunk. But that, again, probably not too out of the norm in Ocean City on Memorial Day.
That's why they got a bus. Yeah.
Yeah. So they get down to Seacrets. I think maybe they went to another bar first.
Man.
And she was like real drunk, I guess. She grabbed some guy in line and like talked him into going around the corner with her, like supposedly to do some kind of drug.
What?
But then came back. Like, she was always kind of disappearing with guys and then coming back.
Oh. You probably remember this because you've been pregnant since you were 14 years old. But, you didn't have to live a youth. You're constantly raising kids. But when you're poor and you're young and you're not rich, or even call it, like, the pre-party.
Yeah.
Because you're going to a bar like Seacrets.
Oh, right. And you don't want to spend all your money on booze, so you got to have, like,
I remember,
drinks first.
It's like, it's $5 a beer, guys.
Right.
So basically, you go to some bar where you can buy a pitcher for $3,
Exactly.
or you just down.
But you do, like, your real drinking first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're showing up there,
Right.
The trick then was, like, not to be so drunk they won't let you in.
Exactly. So Erika not only had to be drunk, but she had to be on a constant stream of Xanax. Oh, I forgot the other important thing that Erika and Benjamin really loved. So guess what the other thing that reptiles, drugs,
America. No, sorry.
Burglary. What goes along with those? What other thing would you collect that we would kind of need to pull off burglaries? And
guns?
Yes, they love guns.
Really?
Yes.
I am doing well in this.
Yeah,
okay.
Good job. So he had bought Erika. Benjamin had bought Erika a .357.
That's a cock gun. No need to
revolver, right?
That's a worthless.
But it was like a small gun. She put it in her purse.
Oh, that's
right?
small.
Well, it's not that small?
No.
Oh, it's not?
The .357 Magnum is the most powerful handgun in the world. It'll blow
Really?
your head clean off. It's a Dirty Harry line, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
No,
so anyways, he buys her .357, and he had a .45.
Okay, these are not practical guns.
They would
keep
them on themselves, okay? He had a holster. He would carry a .45, and she had a .357 in her purse.
I'm sorry, he might be a shitty Navy SEAL. That's not a practical thing to carry for self-defense. That's a show-off. They're fun to shoot, but not to carry. Carry a Glock or something.
Well, interestingly enough, I guess he didn't bring it. They also had some kind of gun, and I can't remember what, in the console of their Jeep at all times, too. But she had this gun in her purse. And the other things she had in her purse, this is weird. She carried around all her drugs. That's not so weird. She carried around a bunch of cash, her .357, and a bag in her purse that contained all her jewelry. And she had thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, including a $10,000 canary diamond.
What's that mean?
It's just a type of diamond.
Okay.
She had thousands of dollars.
Do they find them in coal mines? Why is it a canary?
I don't know. I think it's yellow.
I thought it was kind of clever. Sorry.
Anyway, I like it. I like that joke. That's hilarious.
Yeah, by the way, here's your .357 Magnum.
Oh, God, yeah.
Super subtle.
For some reason, I was picturing a smaller, like a shorter end of it. .357. Yeah, that's what it said. Anyway, yikes. How was that even? What kind of purse was she fucking carrying? Wait, hold on.
I guess you can get a snub-nosed one, though.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was going to say, that's not what it looks like. It was short. Okay, here we go. Look. .357 Magnum revolver. Here it was. Right here. There's their guns.
Oh, the 3-inch barrel. Okay. Oh, yeah, so that's fine. It's still...
It says ultralight on it.
I'm just saying, in 2001, 2002...
that sounds like
it's not a... Revolvers are not practical guns for self-defense. I mean, if you're carrying them for it's the kind of thing that you want to... It will scare somebody if you point in their face, because people that don't know will be frightened by a revolver. It's a scary-looking gun.
Yeah, so... Anyway, she had it in her purse, and she gets into Seacrets, which I guess they usually check people for weapons going to these bars, but somehow she got past security, and she's got her gun. So it only becomes relevant because I guess Benjamin at some point says to her, you got past security with your gun. And they're like saying this in front of the other couple. And the other couple... I don't know what the other couple was thinking. Nobody could ask them after the fact, but they...
oh, my.
they were partying with these people. They were probably partying quite a bit themselves. At one point, Erika and Josh go off to the bathroom, I think, to do drugs. Although it was rumored that Erika was often kind of like propositioning men and trying to get them to come back with her and Benjamin. Anyway, no detail. I don't have any details on that, unfortunately. But anyways, they come back. They're partying, and then they decide they invite this couple, Joshua and Jeannie, back to the condo with them. They say like, "Hey, you should come back to our condo. We've got a hot tub. We'll party some more." And they're like, "Cool." And Josh was like, let's swing by our condo at the Atlantis first, and we'll get some. We got some weed, and we're gonna get our bathing suits, and so
weed. Everybody likes weed.
I don't know why I called it weed.
No,
I don't call it that anymore.
I call it weed. They call it weed.
I
No, I'm just saying, but like,
called it weed in high school.
I think Benjamin could get it up. In all honesty, a lot of anger, a lot of issues. He's the classic guy.
So later, Erika kind of said that their sex life wasn't so great. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So they stop by. Now, there's kind of two versions of this. So either they stopped by the Atlantis, all four of them, and then continued on to the Rainbow, or the three people, Joshua, Jeannie, and Erika, went to the Atlantis, while Benjamin went by himself to the Rainbow, couldn't get in because he didn't have the key, so went down, got in their Jeep, and fell asleep, passed out. So nobody's really, it's not ever, those are the two versions. We don't know. So here's what we do know.
Go on.
This is kind of frustrating because, like a lot of crimes, a lot of it comes down to, somebody telling the story who might not be totally truthful, and you can never ever know all the details. So here's what we know it happened. Here's what we know happened. The four of them end up at the Rainbow penthouse. They're partying. They're getting ready to go in the hot tub. They're having a good time. Erika notices her purse has been moved. She had set her purse down at the table and had been moved. Now, she's a really anxious person. She's prone to panic attacks. She opens up her purse and notices that the bag with all the jewelry and the cash and the drugs is missing.
Yikes.
Yeah. So at this point...
It's not a good feeling when you're missing that bag.
At this point, I'm just going to go with what Erika said happened next, okay? Because otherwise it gets too confusing. So what Erika said happened was this. She notices that the bag that was in her purse is missing. It's got all her drugs, her cash, and thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. Meanwhile, they've got this couple here that they don't know that well. She starts to panic. She's running around looking for it. The rest of them are drunk, they're high, they're not paying attention. She goes upstairs to the bedroom, and she calls 911. Now, this is her version of it. She calls 911. You can listen to the 911 call. I listened to it. It's not that impressive, otherwise I would play it right now. She basically says, there's some people in my house, I don't know them, and my purse is missing. I think I'm going to have a robbery here. And the dispatcher says, okay, well, let me patch you over to the Ocean City PD. It patches her over to them. They say, what's your emergency, whatever. And she says something like, yeah, I think that, and then click, it goes on. So for some reason, and they later said, like, something got lost, something got dropped there. Because, the police usually will come with the 911 call, even if it gets cut off.
Yeah. Something
got screwed up in the dispatch. The police never came. So this 911 call actually happened at some point this evening. The police never followed.
I can totally see the mindset though. Like, she's fucked out of her mind.
Right.
She's
fucked out of her mind. She's been snorting Xanax and Yellow Jackets, some kind of speed.
That's awesome.
Which sounds like wow. I feel like those things are going to cancel themselves out. Like, you're so anxious, you got to take Xanax, and yet you're going to take uppers at the same time.
As I've told you many times, no one's ever offered me speed. No one's ever said, "Hey, Dave, you need some amphetamines."
You do not.
No, I do not. But I feel like whenever I've had bags of drugs in my possession, at some point in the night, I'm convinced I've lost them, and there's some hilarity as I search for them, and then it's like, oh, there. I can only imagine if I had a gun and I was on speed and I couldn't find something, I had strangers in there.
Oh, my God. You know how I get when I can't find something?
God, it's fucking terrible.
I go from 0 to 60 into a complete rage.
That's the only time that happens.
Well, I get pretty that is a pretty
It's like
bad...
we can't find something, there's a minor inconvenience,
No,
the weather's bad, you watch the news.
Hey, no. those are all big reactions. But when I really start to get panicky and ragey, it's when I can't find something. I can imagine this would send you into a panic.
Or the dryer doesn't work.
However,
it's too hot. It's too cold.
Shut the fuck up.
The dog's barking.
You know what? I'm editing all that out.
Too bad you can't edit.
Hey, I can edit. Fuck you. I did a great editing job.
Yeah, fine.
All right. So, anyways,
this is gold, Jerry.
She sounds quite calm on the 911 call, though. For someone who's panicking, she sounds pretty calm. We could patch that 911 call into the podcast later, or you could just pick your phone up and Google Erika Sifrit 911.
Here's that 911 call right now, or a portion of it. Or maybe not, because we'll edit this out.
All right, so anyway. So, Erika said what happened next is that Joshua and Jeannie come upstairs and they say, "What's going on?" And they're all three there. They say, "What's going on?" And she says, the bag with all the stuff in is missing." And Benjamin, her husband...
Just real quick. What color was her hair?
Brown.
How about her husband's hair?
Brown.
The other two?
The guy was dark-haired and the woman was blonde.
Oh, so 3 non-blondes. Ask what's going on.
They did.
What's going on?
That was a lot of work.
It was a lot of setup. Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Add in that.
Anyway, so she says that what happened next is they came upstairs. This is serious, so stop interrupting me. This is the part where it gets intense. I mean, you can interrupt, but don't interrupt for any more 3 non-blonde jokes.
It's a pretty good setup, though.
Anyway. Okay, so she says what happened is she tells Benjamin, "My purse is missing." The other two start to say, like, hey, it wasn't us. Benjamin becomes enraged, grabs her gun out of her purse, or wherever it was, grabs her gun, and points it at them, at the other couple. So then he tells them to strip.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why, but apparently that happened in her version of events. So they strip, and meanwhile they're saying, "We didn't do anything. Why are you doing this? Just, this is crazy. I don't have your purse. We didn't do anything with your purse. Blah, blah, blah."
They're looking so they had stuff up their ass, like jewelry or drugs.
I don't know if he was making them strip to look for stuff or what. Or just to humiliate them. Who the fuck knows?
People are less harmful. Okay. Well.
Right. Maybe make sure they didn't have any... I don't know. Maybe that was part of SEAL training. You get people...
Well, it's a common move if you're trying...
Right, because no one can hide a weapon, right?
Yeah, it makes them more vulnerable.
So anyways, somehow they strip it, then they run into the bathroom and they shut the door and lock it. Okay? Now, Erika says that she, at this point, runs downstairs and is, not anywhere up there and doesn't see what happens. Mm-hmm. Okay? She, is scared of her husband. This is her version. Mm-hmm. She says she was scared of him. She hears him shoot through the door. He shoots 2 times, I think. He shoots Josh. And then he kicks the door open. All right? And then somehow kills Jeannie. This is her original version, I should say. It gets very complicated. This is the version she initially tells. So, he's killed these 2 people. All right?
He does have the swastika tattoo.
Yeah, I know. So, that does kind of make him look guilty right there. So, they're freaking out. And they're like, what are we going to do with these bodies? Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, he looks and finds her bag of jewelry. It was under the bed. Who knows?
It's always in the last place you look. Right after you kill 2 people.
I know.
You made strip.
Oopsies.
Well, this seems legit, though, so far. I can see all this playing out with the missing jewelry, missing drugs. You blame them.
You can see how this could happen, right? You can see how this could happen. You would panic. You're drunk. You're high. You're threatening people. You freak out. You fire a warning shot. Then you realize you've killed the guy. Then you're like, no witnesses, and you shoot them both. You could see how this could happen. I'm not saying it's good.
The moral of the story here, though, is that this guy was going back there looking to have sex with Erika. I guarantee it.
Well, I don't know. He had his live-in girlfriend with him, too. Maybe they were all going to...
Swinging,
who knows? Whatever. Anyway, it sounds like kind of like a situation gone bad, right?
I guess, but here's how you avoid...
However...
whatever, go on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So then, what Erika said happened next was that Benjamin, her husband, makes her come into the bathroom and look at the bodies, number one, which she said she didn't want to do. Then he starts dragging them into the hot tub in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And then he starts dismembering them and making her help. So they cut each body into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Right? Oh, Frodo, man, that is bad.
Go on.
So he dismembers the bodies. Now, I'm sure this is something he's probably like kind of trained to do.
I think you're putting too much on still training. It's like
I don't know.
They know how to do Christmas trees. They can fix a gutter.
They can like a champion.
I'm not sure dismembering bodies comes up at any point. Well, because they're killing people and moving on. They're not dismembering bodies.
What if you had to dispose of a body and hide it? Whatever
in the
case,
field? Fine.
This is non-disputed. Any version of events.
No, I'm just saying.
These people were absolutely dismembered. Okay,
I'm saying he's a fucking psycho at this point. I'm not sure it's something the seals bring.
Erika tells in her original version. Erika says that he dismembers them. Then he holds the 2 heads up. This is horrible. Holds the 2 heads up and tells her, "Take a picture of me. I'm going to send this to my SEAL buddies." Again, I feel like this is not something normal Navy SEALs would appreciate. So that sounds a little bit suspect right there.
Don't have a lot of
Then she goes on to say that he props the woman's head up on the sink and then has sex with her corpse. At this point, Erika says she runs out of the room, curls up in a fetal position on their couch or on their bed and isn't watching. Well, then he comes out. He's painted himself with blood and tells her he's jerked off on the dead bodies.
To be fair, if I was in that scenario, I'd probably do the same thing. I mean, at that point, you just gotta steer him to the skid.
Jesus. Anyway.
Well, I mean,
so this is
they're there.
So just let this sink into your mind. The story that she tells. This is her original version of the story.
That probably all
now
happened.
imagine you're this woman. She's painting herself as her role in this is, my purse was missing. I tell my husband. He loses his fucking shit. Murders 2 people in cold blood. Cuts their bodies up and then has sex with a corpse and masturbates over the dead bodies. So you're that woman, okay?
Honestly,
what would you do the next day?
Okay, so far, I like her story. I would believe it if I was told. I mean, I
right,
would,
okay.
It sounds plausible, especially when you go back to the swastika tattoo, and again...
But I'm asking you a question. You're that woman. What do you do the next day?
Run the fuck away and get help.
Oh, you mean you don't go on the beach, go to Hooters, get some hot wings, take pictures with other people smiling... Get all those pictures processed so you can scrapbook them?
No, probably not. No.
Oh, do you also mean that you didn't take the ring that the guy was wearing and put it on a necklace and wear it yourself?
It's fucking awesome.
Would you also think that the next day you might go get a brand new tattoo? Are these things that you would do if you're this innocent woman who was scared of her husband who went crazy and killed and dismembered 2 people?
Well, she's probably scared, but slightly turned on with the whole thing, too. I mean...
Maybe. You're cutting her a lot of slack here. So anyways, they apparently, after he cuts these bodies up, they both, like, sleep for a few hours, and they wake up in the morning, and they're like, our bathroom is a mess, and she's like, I'm not cleaning this shit up. You gotta clean it up. So they go to Home Depot, and P.S., she took pictures of them at Home Depot. This woman took pictures of everything on their trip, except for the actual murder. She did not take pictures of the murders.
Aww.
I know. So there's pictures of them standing out in front of Home Depot. Now remember, this is a rented condo. So you're standing in front of Home Depot and you're buying paint and a new door, because don't forget the door had a bullet hole in it and then it was kicked in. And like spackle and like a whole lot of cleaning products, right? Mm-hmm. So they bag up all the body parts. They double bag them in garbage bags and then they put them in these navy duffels.
How does no one hear people getting shot?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
I mean, okay.
Okay.
It's weird.
Right. So they clean up this mess, I guess. They repaint, they paint and hang a new door. They clean the grout.
I wonder if they were shot.
All this stuff. Anyway, they clean up, they put the dead bodies in bags, all the cleaning stuff in bags. They put the garbage bags into these navy duffel bags. Mm-hmm. And they take them all in their Jeep and they throw them in these dumpsters. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then they proceed to continue on with their vacation. It's Sunday. It's not even Memorial Day yet. So they go, she gets a new tattoo. She gets a tattoo on her hip. I believe it was a snake. right under her hip. And then they go to Hooters. There's pictures of them smiling, eating wings. There's pictures of her eating a bunch of like fried clams or something, or shrimp or something at some restaurant. There's pictures of them drinking. There's pictures of them with other couples. Oh, by the way, there's also pictures that she took the night of the murders of that other couple, the couple that got murdered. She takes pictures of everyone. And in some of the pictures that she takes the day after these murders, she's got this necklace with a ring on it.
That's awesome.
Okay? Yeah, it's a nightmare. So,
They
okay,
shouldn't have
so
stolen her
it's
jewelry.
Sunday, right? That was what day was that? The 25th. Saturday the 25th, Sunday the 26th. Monday's Memorial Day. They're continuing to really enjoy their vacation, okay?
Pop.
So, May 31st.
That cherry.
May 31st. They're still on vacation, right? They decide they're going to rip off a Hooters because this is what they love to do, and murdering and dismembering people has not been enough of a thrill. So, she says that she's passed out drunk in the Jeep and she wakes up and they're at Hooters. However, she was pretty sober when this next part happened. So that story doesn't really hold a lot of water. So anyways, he thinks that there's no alarm, but he's tripped a silent alarm. So they're ripping off this Hooters and the police come. Okay?
Okay.
So they arrest them. They arrest Erika and Benjamin. They've got all this Hooters merchandise in the back of their Jeep. Erika starts panicking, right? She's got anxiety. She's having a panic attack.
Can I just back up here real quick, though?
Yeah?
I just love what a hot mess she is. I mean, like, aside from the swastika ex-Navy SEAL guy.
She is a hot mess.
But
She
like,
is a...
this is the... But
it just gets so much
whatever the
worse. It's so much worse.
I mean, this guy should have, as long as he's dismembering people, throw her in the mix. Because if you just dismember and kill people and you're covered with physical evidence, why the fuck are you breaking into Hooters? One of them must know that's a bad idea.
One of them must. And it's really interesting because it's really hard to kind of know who's the... You know when there's always like two people committing a crime, you're always like, which one's the crazy one and which one's the weak one? Well, it's hard to tell in this case, but I feel like she's
seriously... Well,
I feel like she's crazier. So anyway...
He's more violent, but she's more crazy.
Let's just see. So she says... She tells the police officer that she has a panic disorder and she needs her Xanax. It's in her purse. So the police officer's like, all right. So he goes into her purse that's in the car, opens up her purse, looking around for her Xanax, and he finds...
The handgun?
2 IDs. Now, at this point, the couple...
Oh, my God.
Joshua and Jeannie...
Erika.
I know! But at this point, they'd been reported missing. Because they had, they were supposed to come back to work on the Tuesday after Memorial Day. They didn't show up. Their friends and family were worried. Nobody had heard from them. They'd been reported missing. The police had gone to check out their rental condo and found all of their things and their car there. So they're missing people, and they had that day circulated their pictures around the police department. So this policeman, looking through her purse for her Xanax, pulls out 2 IDs that are not her, looks at them, and recognizes the picture of the 2 missing people. He also finds her .357 Magnum. Oh, no. Her .357 was on her. It was on her body, and his .45 is in her purse. Also, she had a serrated knife, which was also on her person, in her pocket. And there's pictures. It's in her pocket all the time.
Listeners,
she's got a gun and a knife on her all the time.
If you're committing a burglary, don't carry a fucking weapon or the police are coming there.
No, that's so stupid.
Ditch it. Just ditch the weapon.
You know what else she had? She had 3 spent casings and 1 live.
She was in a scrapbook, this shit.
Well, she was.
Why would you keep the casings?
Why would you? Why would you keep the IDs?
Oh my... What? Oh, God, this poor guy. This guy clearly killed them, but his fucking idiot wife... Okay, he's an idiot too. I'm not trying to be too sexist here, but I mean, like, she kept the evidence in the scrapbook.
I know.
She kept the fucking casings?
Yeah, she did.
And the ID, get rid of the ID? Oh my God, they wouldn't even been pegged for that shit.
Right, I know. So listen.
Oh my God.
It gets worse. So they start searching the Jeep. They find another gun. They find flex cuffs and ski masks. So at this point, they're calling for backup. And they're like, this is the missing couple. And then they when they see the flex cuffs and the ski masks, they think, well, And they weren't wearing ski masks when they were breaking into Hooters. So they're like, well, maybe this couple's being held hostage. Okay?
Okay.
So they put it together. Like, if you have to wear ski masks, you're not, you don't want witnesses, whatever. Otherwise, why would you have them? So they get, and you're going to have to help me out. I don't know. You're going to have to help me out with this, whatever this is. But there's a kind of search you can do if you think people are in immediate danger and you don't need a warrant.
I've been drinking, but...
Exigent search or something.
If there's exigent circumstances.
Okay.
I mean, if there's...
So they think this couple is possibly being held hostage.
Well, basically, it's like if police go to a house...
couple.
If you go to a house... If police are walking outside your house and they see smoke coming from inside of it,
yeah.
They can run inside.
Burst in, right.
And they run inside and the smoke happens to be that you're cooking meth, they can still arrest you for cooking meth.
Right.
Because they thought they were trying to save somebody.
So because they think that this couple could be being held alive at the... at Erika and Benjamin's condo...
Because I'm a lawyer. Guys, I'm a
they go into their condo. So they don't find Joshua and Jeannie, of course, but they do find the key to Joshua and Jeannie's condo. They find a shitload of fucking photos that Erika took, including one of Josh and Jeannie together with their arms around each other, holding drinks, wearing the ring that shows up in other pictures, and at Seacrets. Then,
Secrets.
Yeah, taken that night. So they find pictures of the missing couple. They find the key to the missing couple's condo. They also find lines of crushed Xanax or cocaine or whatever, rolled $20 bills. There's drugs everywhere. So, but no couple. So then they get a search warrant, right? And they do a more extensive search. So in this extensive search, they find a new bathroom door. They also find that it's been freshly painted. There's fresh spackle, and they find that there is a hole that had been patched in the bathroom wall. The crime scene techs pull out a .357 slug out of the wall.
It's just weird that nobody would report the shot when it was taken, though.
I know, it is weird. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? They're up on the second floor of the penthouse. Maybe nobody heard it. I don't know. So then the crime scene techs also find blood in the grout and blood under the vanity. There's just blood all over this, even though they cleaned it. It's really hard to clean blood, I think. So, obviously, meanwhile, Erika and BJ, Benjamin are down at the station, right? They've been arrested for burglary. But now they're looking at them for this missing couple. So, Benjamin immediately clams up. He won't say anything. He just says, "Talk to my wife." And then he says he wants a lawyer. He never says anything to the police. He never talks to them.
Benjamin's smart then.
Yep. Erika,
never talk to the police.
Guess who is really chatty?
Erika?
Yep, Erika was chatty. So she
tells her gums the whole time?
She tells that story, that original version of events. Tells the whole thing.
Well, she's buried them both.
She's for some reason pretty hung up on not wanting to be held accountable for that burglary. She keeps saying, if I tell you where the bodies are, will you drop the burglary charges? Which is an odd thing to do if you're being looked at for missing people.
God, she is a bad mate.
She's bad.
I mean, Benjamin...
So she does not deny knowing them. She, tells the whole story.
He just sounds like human silly putty. Whoever grabbed him could mold him over shape. And, she's the bad news bear here. I mean,
But at this point, what she tells is that she was scared of her husband. He's crazy. He made her help cut them up and hide the bodies. She was out of it. She was scared, blah, blah, blah.
But the weird thing is, I was so wet when he was doing it.
Ew. So anyways, her dad gets her a high-powered attorney.
High-powered lawyer.
He immediately gets him to take the death penalty off the table if she helps find the bodies. All right?
That's
probably a smart move. Then
don't kill this white woman, which you weren't going to do anyways, and go on.
Okay.
This is not a death penalty case so far, but
so she leads the police on kind of a wild goose chase for the bodies, but eventually they find by this point the dumpsters have been dumped into the landfill, so they have to go through all kinds of garbage, but they somehow find Josh's arms and torso and one of Jeannie's legs. That's all they found before they said like the stench and bugs and heat and everything from the landfill is just too much. They just couldn't keep searching. Never found the rest of them. Never found the heads. Never found any other parts of Jeannie. That was all they had.
Weird they wouldn't just go to the ocean, but yeah, okay.
Well, but that would float.
I guess, yeah.
I know. I just feel like dumpsters are really... I don't know.
I guess they would have gotten with it, though.
If they hadn't broken into Hooters, they probably would have never gotten caught, is the thing. Well, I don't know if that's true.
Well, even if they had ditched the evidence, even by breaking into Hooters, they wouldn't have been looking at suspects.
I know. Anyway.
Go through my purse.
I know, what an idiot.
Well,
she was out of her mind on drugs and in a panic. So anyways, they find the body. So then her lawyer gets her this deal. He says if she, gives information and cooperates in the litigation in a trial against Benjamin, that they don't prosecute her for any murder charges. Okay?
Okay.
So that's the deal. So the prosecution says, well, all right, we'll do that, but on one condition, she has to pass a polygraph. All right?
Okay.
So, they agree. So this is their deal. She passes a polygraph. They decide, they agree not to prosecute her on any murder charges if she will testify basically against her husband. Right? So for some reason, so they bring in, so she's in the polygraph, and you've sat in a polygraph and I have not, but so
but I have not been polygraphed.
No.
Yeah,
you're an attorney. You've sat in on a polygraph. You've
seen
it being given. So before they actually do the real polygraph, they do this pre-polygraph thing, right, where they're asking them questions and stuff because they're wanting to get like a read on their pulse and stuff, right? Yeah, a baseline. Yeah. Okay.
Like they ask you, like let's say that you're the president of the United States.
Right. Or they'll say, like, are the lights on in this room?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, things so they get a clear reading on
what's your name?
Things that they know they're telling the truth and they know they're lying.
Right.
Right? Okay. So for God knows what reason, during this part, not the real polygraph, the pre-polygraph interview, And it goes right from the pre-polygraph into the polygraph. So they're basically, they're in this room, and her attorney's like out of the room, like just waiting and not knowing what the hell she's saying in there. But pretty much they're all expecting, her parents and everybody's expecting, like, she's going to pass this polygraph. Because she's like, nope, there's nothing else. It's nothing I'm not telling you. Nope. This is it. I've told you the total truth. There's no other secrets. This is it. I'm going to totally pass this polygraph. It's cool. So she goes in, and it was a woman. They sent in a woman to do the polygraph that was visibly pregnant because they thought that might put Erika at ease, and it did. It put her so at ease that she just starts babbling away. She just starts chatting away during this pre-polygraph interview, just like she had just diarrhea of the mouth. She just starts telling this woman all this stuff. So she starts talking about the murders. This isn't even the polygraph yet. So, of course, they just let her go. They just let her talk. So she's talking. She's describing the whole thing. Well, while she starts describing this, she's describing it a little bit differently than she described it the first time.
Okay.
In this version of events, she says that basically it's kind of the same leading up to the people being in the bathroom. And at that point, they're in the bathroom. Benjamin's got a gun pointed at the bathroom. He says to Erika, what do you want me to do? And she says, she tells the person interviewing, she says, I told him, just fucking do it. Then she says to the woman, now you've got me on murder. I don't know where her head was at here.
What the hell?
I don't know. I don't know if she was just so pent up with like wanting to just bust out with the truth, but why she wouldn't have just told this to her lawyer, I don't know. So she tells this
she could have omitted that whole part and still passed the polygraph.
I don't know why she started talking about it. I guess she figured she was going to fail the polygraph. She had to get it off her chest.
But no, everything else happened the way she said it. She could have just left that part out.
But they probably would have asked her, did you have any part in this murder? And she would have probably flunked that question.
No, you say, I was there. I should have stopped him. I knew he was crazy.
She says it again. She says, and so the woman says, you're telling me he asked you, and you said, yeah, I said, just do it. Just kill them. And then there was also, like, in one of the stories or articles that I read, it said she actually climbed out on the balcony and looked in the bathroom window so she could direct him as to where they were hiding in the bathroom so that when he shot through the door, he could hit them. So she tells them also that she helped cut the bodies up. She cuts Jeannie
God,
on.
what a bitch.
She goes in and she stabs Jeannie. That's the other part she tells. She said, I went in. Jeannie was crouched down in the fetal position, like in the corner. And she even gets down at this point and demonstrates how this woman was crouched down. And she says, and then I stabbed her with this knife that she has. And they said, was she dead? And she says, I think so.
Okay.
Then she says that she helped cut the bodies up, and that she cut Jeannie on the hip joint was the first cut, which is then where she gets that tattoo 2 days later. That tattoo was memorializing the first cut she made on this woman's body.
Good for her.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, she tells this shit, but of course it can't be used in the trial, right? It's not admissible in the trial.
I don't know why it wouldn't be admissible.
I don't know. They said it wasn't.
I mean, if there's transactional immunity or whatever you want to call it, I mean, like, basically, if the lawyer agreed anything she said could not be used, but I mean, that must have been
part of it, because this couldn't be used in the trial.
I mean, you can't.
However, the deal was off the table.
I'd put that deal so fucking
quick.
Yeah.
So they do charge her with murder. So there was. So she basically, she blames, her line here is that she's afraid of Benjamin. She's scared of him. Although, this kind of flies in the face of telling him to just do it. But of course, in the trial, they can't say that she said that. There's a lot of evidence, though, that comes out in the trial. So first of all, there's the whole issue of the ring. The ring that was Joshua's ring. They recovered his arms. There's no ring. There's pictures of Erika wearing the ring on a necklace. And I believe they found his ring in her purse. So they used a lot of the pictures that she took in both of their trials to show that, look, these people this was not, they weren't feeling bad. They weren't remorseful. This wasn't anybody who got coerced. Look at this woman. She's eating fried clams and getting a tattoo and smiling in all these pictures. This is not a woman who's scared of her husband. So at Benjamin's trial, he blames Erika. And of course he does. And in his version, he says that, well, the three of his wife and the other couple went to their condo to get drugs and bathing suits. He went ahead to his condo and was locked out and passed out in his Jeep. Mm-hmm. Now, later, the prosecution says that the police, I think, involved said that the prosecutors should have brought up the fact that Benjamin was like an expert at picking locks. And this was like a known thing. And why, if he had been locked out, wouldn't he have picked the lock? But anyway, he says he's passed out in the Jeep, and Erika comes and she's pounding on the Jeep door, and she says something terrible has happened. He goes up to the condo, and these people are dead. Now, remember, it was her gun. It was the bullets from her gun that were recovered. Her gun was absolutely used in this murder. And her serrated knife, which, by the way, still had blood and tissue on it when they recovered it. Yeah. But he says, basically, he goes up there. These people are dead. She says, I freaked out, whatever. And he figures, this is my wife. I can either turn her in or I can help her dispose of these bodies. And he decides he's going to help her dispose of the bodies. So he admits to helping dismember these people and dispose of them. And his defense in his trial shows pictures of them right after the murder the next day or two. And in these pictures, he's looking kind of morose. He has sunglasses on, and she's looking all smiley and happy. So they're kind of using those pictures on both sides of it. And they painted a picture of Erika as this controlling, obsessive, manic, just crazy person. They bring up the fact that she pressured him into getting himself thrown out of the Navy. it's just, so this is the picture that they're painting. The policeman, the main, the head detective or whatever in the case wanted the prosecution to question Benjamin about the fact that there was no blood on the carpet, because because what they said was, I can't remember what it was exactly, like something about the logistics of it. They thought he must have been in there and shot them, because otherwise, I know, because in his version of events, he goes into the bathroom and then he leaves the bathroom and sits on the bed to decide what to do. And they said if that had been the case, there'd have been blood everywhere. And there was only blood in the bathroom. So this all must have transpired in the bathroom. They also said they didn't think Erika could have kicked that door in. And there was only one shot that went through the door. So anyways, that was not brought up in his trial.
It was just so creepy picture on the balcony directing where to shoot, though.
I know. So that wasn't verified. That was just in one article that I read. But it sounds like something Erika would do. I mean, if we know Erika at this point, that doesn't sound beyond Erika. So
that's our Josie.
So anyway, at Benjamin's trial, it's pretty gruesome. It's pretty, dark or whatever. He does not get, he's not found guilty in any charges in the murder of Joshua Ford, which is strange. Okay. Because they couldn't definitively, I guess the jury didn't feel like they definitively proved that he was involved in his actual murder, but he does get charged with second-degree murder for Jeannie. And I think because he said when he went into the bathroom, he started cutting her up before he knew whether or not she was dead. And so the argument there was like he'd had medic training, he could have checked her, he could have tried to see if she was alive, and he didn't. So they got him on second-degree murder. That's it.
Okay.
No murder conviction in the murder of the guy. Second-degree murder only. Everybody was disappointed. The victims' families were disappointed. The police involved were disappointed. The judge was disappointed in the jury's decision. But anyways, so the judge told him he was disappointed and gave him the maximum sentence he could give him, which was 38 years.
Okay, good.
Okay. So, at Erika's trial... let me back up a tiny bit. Before Erika's trial, this is just a tiny side note, and I could only find like one little thing about this, and I wish I could find more. But her dad at some point hires a private PI who then has a fucking fling with Erika while she's in jail.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So she's a hot mess is a kind term for her, man. She also starts writing all these letters to her old friend, and in these letters is like kind of like feeling sorry for herself and everything, and also kind of trying to get her friend, like prepping her friend to come and be a character witness for her, which finally the friend's like, I'm not getting involved in this. She also gets a pen pal from another prison, this guy who's like, I think maybe did I make this up in my head that he was on death row? Anyway, some murderer,
that sounds about right.
Some guy wrote to her. And she starts this like pen pal relationship with him, writing love letters and like sexual things back and forth with this guy. And then in one of her letters to her friend, she says she was having dreams about Josh, the murdered guy. And in these dreams, they were like in love and they like ride off together, and Benjamin doesn't exist in these dreams. I'm like, what? How are you having love dreams about a guy that you murdered?
What happens to her?
This one is just, her head is a complete fucking mess. So at her trial, they used a lot of her own photos against her here. They showed all these photos that, like, look, this woman got, they brought in all kinds of witnesses too. They brought in the tattoo artist, gave her the tattoo. They brought in people from the bars. They brought in a bartender who, the day after these murders, a bouncer, from a bar, who threw Benjamin and Erika out of the bar after Erika waved her gun at him when he told them to get out. And guess why he was throwing them out?
Why?
Because Benjamin was trying to pick the lock in the ATM machine.
What the fuck?
I know. So anyway, they also, of course, used the fact that she had these people's IDs, the ring, the bullets, all in her purse. And that she was a scrapbooker. They were building a case to say this woman was a collector. She didn't feel pushed into this by her husband. She wasn't scared of her husband. She enjoyed this, and she was trying to,
yeah. She
was collecting memorabilia from it. The other interesting thing that happened at her trial, and I think that this woman actually was a witness in Benjamin's trial also, is that a couple days after this murder, They were at another bar, and I don't think it was Seacrets. Might have been. And they met this other couple. Okay?
Yikes.
Very similar story. They invite them back to their condo. They come back to their condo.
Wait, the next night?
Oh, it was like it was like 2 or 3 nights later. But it was on the same, it was like a few days after this murder.
God, but it's probably
they'd already fixed up their bathroom by this point.
Yeah, that's a good reason to murder someone again.
They bring these people back to their condo, and guess what happened while they're partying at the condo?
I don't know.
Her purse goes missing.
What?
They pulled the same ruse on this couple. This woman she said they were there. All of a sudden, Erika starts freaking out because the bag with all of her jewelry is missing. They're running around. They're looking for the bag. And guess what Benjamin did?
What?
Pulled out a gun. Threatened them with a gun. It was the exact same thing. But somehow, and they don't know why, and nobody knows why, but they let these people go. But this woman was a witness at her trial, which did not help her case, I'm sure.
What the fuck?
Probably they decided not to murder them because they didn't have time to clean up the bathroom again. That's my guess. Because by this point, they only had a couple days.
Were they trying to get money from them, or
no? I think
maybe
they were
just.
I think it was just I think it was just a thrill-seeking thing.
They should have.
I think it was a power thing.
Maybe they're trying to recreate the same thing. Maybe she's getting on. That's fucking.
Isn't that?
She
crazy?
is so fucked up. Maybe she just thought it'd be fun to recreate it, like a fun little thing.
Who knows? Who
See
knows?
what she
Who
can get.
knows? Who knows?
God.
All right. So, anyways, to wrap this story up.
Yeah, I want to hear what happens to her, and then.
So, by the way, her parents, of course, her poor parents. This is their only child.
Yeah, they kind of struck out there.
They really, they still stand behind like that. This is all Benjamin's fault, and Erika would never do this. But I think pretty much everybody else involved at this point thought this woman was completely nuts, and this guy, yeah, he's a weakling, and he probably participated in the murders also. But she was not an innocent, abused wife. There's nothing else in their history points to that. Let me see if I missed anything else. Yeah. So she tries to pin it all on Benjamin, but I think what cinched it for the jurors, they said afterwards, was seeing all those happy vacation pictures that they took after the murders happened. Oh, and by the way, the police think that 911 call happened after the murders. They think she called 911 just in case someone reported hearing gunshots.
Wow.
Yeah. Because she sounds incredibly calm in the 911 call, by the way. So she gets, would you like to hear her?
I would.
The jury's decision on her? 2nd-degree murder for Jeannie, 1st-degree murder for Joshua. So she gets life plus 20 years.
Good.
Yeah. At the sentencing, the victims' families give impact statements, which are pretty amazing, which I would read, except for that we've been going on a really, really long time.
We'll link them, yeah.
It's pretty bad. I mean, they had this image of themselves, it seems like to me, of like Mickey and Mallory, like Bonnie and Clyde. They were these thrill-seeking. I think they went into this marriage obviously way too quickly. It was a shit marriage. She was panicking that she was going to lose him. She told police later also that I don't know why she just told them everything, that their sex life was bad. He wasn't attracted to her. She wasn't exciting enough. So I think she was desperately trying to hold on to this guy, and that this thrill-seeking stuff was something that they kind of did together. I think they were both guilty. I think he should have probably been convicted of 1st-degree murder too, because the fact that they did this almost exactly the same, if this was a guy whose wife had roped him into this and he was horrified and had to cover her crime up, he would not have 2 days later gone along with inviting another couple back to their condo and pointed a gun at them for the same thing. There's no fucking way in the world. They were both completely guilty. They planned this. They wanted to kill someone. This
guy's a shithead.
They're both shitheads.
Yeah, I mean, like, 2nd-degree murder, 1st-degree murder, yeah, he should be in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah, well, she is in prison for the rest of her life. And by the way, she's just exhausted all of her appeals at this point.
Good.
Yeah. I think this was a true thrill kill situation. And I'm sure if they had not gotten caught, they would have done it again, because they were already revving up to do it again. And they were still ripping off Hooters a few days later.
I mean, so the moral of the story here is just avoid white women.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the moral of the story is, like, be really careful with people that you meet at Seacrets.
I'd say avoid white woman.
How about avoid guys with swastika tattoos?
I don't know. He seems okay. I'd say it's the white woman here that's the problem. God, no. I mean, and again, 15 years ago / 9 years ago, I would have totally been all over her.
Ew.
If I just no. I mean, just not
Crazy,
for like relationship wise. Just like
coked out.
I feel like
Anxious,
probably a fun night,
obsessive,
fun weekend.
Stalker girl.
I don't know, like scooters.
Ugh.
Well, this has been a good episode, I think, and as such, I think we should end it on a high note.
Okay.
And that high note's going to be thanks for listening. I guess to avoid getting murdered, you should probably not go home with strange couples you meet at strange bars.
That's probably good advice.
Be happy with the one you're with. Because, honestly, if a couple... I mean, there was some weird shit going on there.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you're going to go... And by all accounts, the other people in the bar, like, this couple was fucking drunk off their asses and just completely fucked up on whatever they were on. So... if you're going to go home with a couple who's that fucked up, you know some crazy shit might happen. You probably are not counting on getting murdered at all. I mean, they did not see that coming.
They're looking for drugs or sex.
But you got to be careful. The people who are that fucking crazy are inviting you back to their house. And I've been in, not in this kind of situation, but we've all been at parties where people were like completely fucked out of their minds, and it's a little bit scary because you're like, what is this person going to? I mean, you know?
Yeah.
And it's scary. And people under the influence of drugs are unpredictable and whatever, but I don't think this was like a case of like they were fucked up and they just made a mistake. Like these people this was what they were aiming for. I think they lured this couple back with every intention of killing them.
Well, I think she created the scenario on her own, maybe to get him to kill them, the missing purse, that kind of thing, but there was no rhyme or reason to them killing them either, though, too. Like no, she just wanted to...
They wanted the thrill. It was a thrill kill.
She got off on committing crimes.
Yep.
And he was muscle.
Yep.
He acted exactly like the person with a swastika tattoo on his chest would act.
Yeah, breaking no stereotypes.
No,
there.
none Saturn. No.
No.
This guy. All right. So, on that note, can we wrap it up?
Sure.
Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning in. We will see you again later this month with an episode about something awkward or something murderous or something in between. Until then, stay safe. Thank you once again for listening to How to Avoid Murder and Other Awkward Situations. If you're listening to this, that means you haven't been murdered, and we've done our job. Make sure you check us out on Facebook at How to Avoid Murder or online on the World Wide Web at avoidmurder.com. And until next time, stay safe.